So today we start off by stuffing tomatoes. My friend Meenakshi Gokhale, she's a gourmet cook and she shared this stuffed tomato recipe with me. Apparently she had it at a very fancy restaurant in India and it was served on breakfast menu. So what we need for this is tomatoes, and we need ripe tomatoes, but we do not want very soft ones. We want something which is very firm, because if you stuff very ripe tomatoes, it's not going to turn out very well. So you don't want very soft tomatoes. You want little firm tomatoes. And what you do is just make a little cut on top, like a little cap, you can say. And then go ahead and just go around by just taking the knife around so that the pulp comes out. And what I'm going to do is just remove the pulp from there. And please don't throw this pulp away. You can make a nice soup or you can use it in a stew. So for this stuffing, I'm going to use some onions, some corn. This is roasted corn. I like to use cauliflower. Cauliflower gives a nice crunch, so chopped very fine. And you can use peas or you can use any other beans that you want, but I like to use edamame beans. And I like to give it a little punch by adding chopped chilies. Now this is purely optional. If you don't like chopped chilies, or if you find some member of your family can't take green chilies, skip this ingredient. But let's put in a good 2 green chilies. And then I like to add some cheese to this, about half a cup of cheese. And breadcrumbs. Now breadcrumbs, you can either have seasoned breadcrumbs or you can have plain breadcrumbs. Now suppose you don't have breadcrumbs at home. Then take bread, slice it into really small pieces, add it into the recipe. It's okay if you don't have breadcrumbs too. So there. And the final thing that I'm going to add is basil. Now basil is something which I like to add. In India, it would be cilantro that they add to this recipe. But I'm going to add some basil. I find the taste of basil very refreshing. So make it into nice little ribbons and add it in such. And then I like to add some lime juice, lime, lemon, whichever you have or whichever is on sale in the grocery store. I'm not too particular about lime or lemon. And try to keep the seeds out. Okay. And then black pepper. My hand is slippery, so I cannot turn it well, but you get the idea. Okay. And some salt. Remember, there's salt in cheese, so try to add a little less salt than the regular quantity that you would add. And mix it such. So I go ahead and stuff it. Give it a little pat and push it in. The reason is because when this cheese melts, it sort of settles down. And then after this, you put it in the oven for about 20 minutes at 350 degrees. You get the cheese to melt, and what you get is this here. So the tomatoes have cooked, it becomes soft. And then the cheese melts. And let me show you an interesting way of serving. And since we have basil in this recipe, I like to give it an accent of basil. So put in the basil leaves here. And whenever you're garnishing, remember there's some charming thing about odd numbers. So always garnish in odd numbers. So here you have a very elegant tomato dish, which is a snack to make and you can serve it for breakfast too.